Steelers take another gut punch of a loss here in Week 5 against, in my opinion, an inferior opponent, especially with the Cowboys as dinged up as they were, in front of a national audience, at home. And we're going to be talking about what comes next for the Pittsburgh Steelers now that it looks like Russell Wilson is on the mend. At the end of today's show, I'm going to let you know my thoughts on the quarterback situation, whether I think the Steelers should stick with Justin Fields or go to Russell Wilson. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of today's show. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Postgame Show. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. And this one was a tough one, man. I'm not going to lie. Justin Fields finished up today. Not the best performance, let's call it that. 15 of 27, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. All right. One of them was a pitch on a shovel pass. No interceptions, but you could definitely argue he should have thrown at least one in the first half. Took 3 sacks, had a 93.3 passer rating. I don't think Justin Fields was necessarily the biggest problem with the Steelers today. Nick Herbig goes out with injury. Davante Leal leaves with injury, and the defensive line, particularly down the stretch, got gassed. Obviously this game comes down to one play. Where Dak Prescott in the Cowboys offense are at the 4-yard line. It's 4th down and goal. It's either get a touchdown and win or the Steelers get the stop and the Steelers win. Unfortunately, Jalen Tolbert made a nice contested catch. Steelers pass rush didn't get home. And usually in a game here that we're accustomed to seeing the Steelers win, right? Mike Tomlin has the best record among any head coach in the National Football League in one score contests. That's incredible for a head coach of Mike Tomlin, but he also has a little bit of a tendency here to losing to teams that he shouldn't lose to, particularly at home. And with Micah Parsons out, DeMarcus Lawrence out, Kalen Carson out, DeRon Bland out, Brandon Cooks out, I could go on for the Dallas Cowboys. They were depleted and playing on the road. And it's the best defense in football, and they put up 20 points, and they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have a lot to talk about here on the show, man. I'm going to be getting into my 5 takeaways here, and of course, I'll let you guys know what I think the Steelers should do at quarterback 1 heading into next week against the Raiders. So let me know down there in the comment section, who's to blame for the loss? Is it the quarterback, Justin Fields? Is it Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator? Is it right at the top of the snake here at Mike Tomlin? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time, but let me know who you blame for this Week 5 loss. So the first thing I want to talk about is the start. Second straight game in a row where the Steelers score 3 points in the first half. So clearly something with Justin Fields and Arthur Smith and this offense isn't working on the script. Okay, and you look at the best offensive play callers in football, Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, Shane Steichen, all these guys, Sean McVay. They all do great on the script. Matt LaFleur is really good on the script, too, for the Green Bay Packers. Steelers have not been good on the script this year, man. I don't think that they've scored more than 13 points and a half in the first half this year. And the last 2 games, they've only scored a combined 6 points in the first half. Whether that's Fields needs to play better, whether that's Arthur needs to call better plays, whether that's the run game needs to get going more, they need to play better to start games, man. Plain and simply, they're putting themselves behind the 8 ball. And whereas the first 3 weeks, they would get out to a little bit of a lead. The defense would play incredible football, and they could just protect the football and all this different stuff. Now they're playing from behind a little bit. And, they started playing better in the second half. Justin Fields had 2 touchdown passes in the second half. Last week, they got going in the second half as well. But it's too little too late, right, man? I just want this offense to get off to better starts. And the sign of a well-coached offense and a well-executing offense is that you execute on the script, your first 20 or 30 plays on offense. And Fields, for whatever reason, hasn't done that well this year. Arthur Smith hasn't orchestrated it well. Whatever the case is, and there's a lot of different fingers and people you can point the finger at, but it just needs to get better, period. Especially on offense. Second thing, who's going to play the second edge rusher? Got TJ Watt. He's obviously great, but you could tell he was getting tired at the end of the game because he had to play so freaking much. You have Alex Highsmith, who's not expected back until week 7. You got Nick Herbig now dealing with a hamstring issue. DeMarvin Leal got a stinger tonight. So right now you got what? Jeremiah Moon as your number 2 outside linebacker? I mean, he's a decent depth piece, a decent practice squad guy. But as long as both Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig are out of this lineup, Steelers could be in trouble, especially if DeMarvin Leal, that kind of versatile piece is also out. So we'll see what comes of this hamstring injury and the stinger for DeMarvin Leal. And I don't really expect the Raiders offense to do much against this Steelers defense, even if both of them are out, if I'm being honest with you. But next week, it'll definitely be a big question as to who is the second edge rusher for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It certainly seems like TJ Watt's going to play a lot of football next week in Las Vegas. All right, before we get into the rest of my takeaways here, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And what I love about using the Game Time app, guys, is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. You can create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. My third takeaway is whether it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields at quarterback, this team needs another receiver badly. Davante Adams, I don't care if it's him. I don't care if it's DeAndre Hopkins. I don't care if it's Romeo Doubs. I don't care if it's Christian Kirk. I don't care if it's Darius Slayton. Get another receiver on this football team, Omar Khan. I mean, Van Jefferson was okay today, I guess. But, there was a play in the fourth quarter. Fields throws a really nice back shoulder ball to Van Jefferson, right on the money. Great timing. Davante Adams would have easily brought it in. Van Jefferson drops it. If you have Davante Adams, there's no excuses left for Justin Fields, all right? Plain and simply. And, after watching that offense tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if Davante's like, I don't want to go to Pittsburgh. I'm not signing a 3-year contract with them, and I'm not going to rework my contract if they trade for me. And that's what stings about this game, is that this offense isn't playing well enough for Davante Adams to say, I want to go play with that quarterback in Justin Fields. He'd rather go play for the Jets. He'd rather go play for the Saints. Rather go play for the Bills. I wouldn't be surprised if Davante says, you guys can trade for me. I'm not adjusting my contract. And if that happens, the Steelers will not trade for Davante. If they can make it happen, great. But after tonight's offensive performance, I don't know if Davante wants to come to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that really sucks. Then we get to this one here, which is a reality that I think we should acknowledge here. The Steelers should be 5-0 right now. They have a good enough football team to be 5-0. The Cowboys were super depleted tonight. Tonight should have been a win at home. The Indianapolis Colts, they were also depleted. Steelers are the better team. They should have won on the road last week. And then obviously those 3 wins that you start the season with. You could be sitting at 5-0 right now in a bona fide title contender if the offense is working better. But it's not, so now you've lost 2 straight games in a row that you should have beaten against inferior opponents, in my opinion. And now you're sitting at 3-2, and you're tied now with the Baltimore Ravens, who are on fire at the top of this division. And it's like, you got that looming gauntlet at the end of the season. You have to pad as many wins as you can at the beginning of this season to be able to get things going here so that you have as much cushion as possible for that final stretch. But now, if you continue to lose against teams you should win against, the playoffs might begin to become in question for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I don't want that to happen. I want this team to be a playoff team. I want them to win a playoff game. Because I think they have the talent to do it, but right now they're not playing to their standard. They should be 5-0. Instead, they're 3-2. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to be having more Steelers coverage for you guys all throughout the week. We go live on Monday at 4:30 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, where we're going to be talking about this one. I'm going to look at the All-22 film, see who the studs and duds are. break it down for you guys tomorrow, and also we'll preview next week's matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button. Got a bunch of great content coming this week. If the Steelers trade for Davante Adams, great. We're going to be going live for that event. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button to never miss any breaking news action or any video here from us at Steelers Talk. So now the final point here. And this is the one that everybody's going to be talking about. And, Tomlin Tuesday is going to be very, very highly anticipated this week because this is the question. Does Mike Tomlin stick with Justin Fields, who is 0-2 in his last 2 games, or does he go with Justin Fields, or does he go with Russell Wilson, who he named as this team's starting quarterback to start the season before he got that calf injured? It seems like Russell Wilson is on his way back. He put out a workout video yesterday where he was running on a treadmill with the anti-gravity machine and all that. It seems like, this is going to be the week for Russell Wilson to be back. So Mike Tomlin has a big decision to make. And, I think both sides have an argument. On the Justin Fields side, I get it. Arthur Smith hasn't been the best offensive play caller. The offensive line has shuffled around. The wide receivers, it's not a good enough wide receiver room. I get all of the reasons why people would say, let's stick with Justin Fields. But he's no longer the hot hand, right? I also get why people would want to go to Russ. You've lost 2 straight games in a row with him as your quarterback that you should have won. Is it all his fault? No, but he was still the quarterback. All right? Russell Wilson is a better drop-back passer. Tonight, there were opportunities for Fields to throw the ball down the field, and instead either didn't throw it to him or threw it to the wrong receiver. And the biggest one that comes to mind was he had a play there where it was a dagger concept, a Yankee concept. He had Calvin Austin III open for a huge gain down the field, and instead he throws it to Van Jefferson on the other side of the field where there is a safety ready to poach his pass, and if it wasn't for a dropped interception, that would have been a big turning point in the game. He's had multiple fumbles. I understand why some Steelers fans would say, after 2 straight really, really bad losses, in my opinion, that they'd want to see what this offense looks like in Russell Wilson. Now, I'm not saying that this offense is definitely going to be better with Russ. All right? He can't move as well as Justin Fields can. Maybe this wide receiver room just won't get open for him, and this offense looks even worse than it does with Justin Fields. Maybe that's the case. But after 2 straight losses here, aren't you a little bit curious to see what Russell Wilson, a fully healthy Russell Wilson, can do in this offense? A better mental processor that can hit more open receivers when they do get open. I'm at least a little bit intrigued. I will say this. I don't have all the answers. Mike Tomlin and his staff are going to get together and make a decision this week. Whatever they go with, I'm going to get behind that quarterback. If it's Russell Wilson, I'm going with him. If it's Justin Fields, I'm going with him too. I'm behind this football team. I'm not a fan of either one of these quarterbacks necessarily. I'm a fan of this football team. And whoever they decide to go with, I'll understand the reasonings behind it, and I'm going to be behind the Steelers team when they play the Las Vegas Raiders next week. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Type RW for Russell Wilson or type JF for Justin Fields. Right now, man, I need to sleep on it here. I'll probably have a for sure answer for you guys tomorrow. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button. It's been a long night, weather delay, long football Sunday here at Chat Sports. It is a gut punch to see this loss tonight. But we get back on the horse tomorrow. Get ready for Week 6 against the Las Vegas Raiders. And hey, if there's any positive, get the Raiders, Jets, Giants in your next 3 weeks, all very beatable opponents. Steelers could easily be 6-2 heading into the bye. So we'll talk about that tomorrow on Steelers Talk Live, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't be late. I'll see you guys later. Until next time, here we go, Steelers.